and welcome back to Bourbon Barrel Talk. I'm your host, Scott Minton. While our conversations focus mostly on our favorite spirits, please remember that having a solid financial plan can help you avoid feeling as though the volatile stock and bond markets are driving you to drink. Yes, today's episode of Bourbon Barrel Talk is brought to you by Axiom Financial Strategies Group, which is a financial planning-based wealth management firm that serves to maintain our clients' paths to financial success, happiness, and overall well-being. Axiom's mission is to help individuals and families of all size grow and protect their wealth through an objective, thoughtful advice anchored in deep subject matter expertise. If you have a financial plan but are lacking confidence that you will achieve your goals or would like assistance in developing a financial plan, please reach out to the Axiom team at 812-913-7701 or email them at contactus@axiomfsg.com. Please remember to drink and invest responsibly. Axiom Financial Strategies Group, LLC, is a registered investment advisor. Advisory services are only offered to clients or prospective clients where Axiom and its representatives are properly licensed and exempt from licensure. And we are back in the Brock Bourbon Bar, and we are chilling with our Brock family and Mr. John. What's up?
What's up, man?
Doing all right. What's up with you guys?
Just hanging.
Hair and a biscuit. That's the barber all day.
Absolutely.
Yep. Biscuits. What's your favorite biscuit?
I'm not super fond of biscuits.
You don't like biscuits?
What?
What's wrong with you?
No. The if you talk about like the English biscuit, she likes those.
Oh, you want a cookie? All right. That's cheating. I want a biscuit like Grandma's biscuit, big, fat, fluffy, thick. But I love a drop biscuit because it's got a lot more crust. You know how
I can see that. Yeah.
A drop biscuit. What is dropping about that biscuit?
So you don't know the difference between a drop and a rolled biscuit?
I like Pillsbury.
Okay. So one of my grandmothers made what was called drop biscuits, and drop biscuits are basically you make the biscuit dough, and then you basically just kind of throw it on the tray. Like you don't roll it out, you don't do anything with it. It's got all these like little mountainous regions and crevices, and it just bakes and fluffs up from there.
Not looking for consistency in the biscuit. It's
don't
just
care.
what
That's
it is.
right.
Gotcha. Okay.
And mainly those are like the old school biscuits you usually did
Yeah.
with biscuits and gravy or things.
I would
like
just
that.
say, what is your condiment of choice on the biscuit?
Oh,
if
it's got to be gravy, sausage gravy.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
all day long sausage
Well
gravy.
done. Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm going to do biscuits, I need that sausage gravy.
Yeah.
I enjoy the Pillsbury, but I do the Southern style where it's not flakes. I like the whole biscuit.
Okay.
And then my mom's old recipe, she did she used to cut up the thin sliced roast beef.
Okay.
Corned beef
Yeah.
that you could get in the little packets, and she would slice them up into little bits,
Yeah.
and then throw them in with the gravy.
Huh.
Instead of sausage, you do that.
So I'll take the corned beef like that, and then I also take another type of just like regular beef, and then I put that's what I put in my cheese ball.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, it's excellent.
I feel like that would give a nice salty.
It does.
The corned beef salt would come through.
Yeah.
100%. Well, anyway, enough about food. This is Bourbon Barrel
How did we
Talk.
get on that?
It's not Fat Kid Friday. I guess it could be Fat Kid Friday, and
Yes.
we are talking about some fun stuff. And today we have two unique, and I brought in some rye whiskey because Barbara, she's always so nice, and she's got to tell some story about something, and blah blah blah, so on and so forth. But I brought in batch one, the OG, the original Oak Carter batch one rye. And then we did a podcast not that long ago with Distillery 291 out of Colorado. And he may have sent me a bottle of Hazmat, 148.7 proof 7-year-old rye whiskey. So we're going to try these, talk about them, see what we think, and kind of go from there. Sound fair enough?
I like
Sounds
it.
perfect.
Great.
All right. Good deal. Oak Carter. Everybody dive in on this bad boy. This one is batch one, like I said. It's there was 1,269 bottles of this. This is a distilled in Indiana product, so that'll give you an idea of
Probably who it is.
And what they do. And if I remember correctly, when I talked to them, this is a blend of 7 and 8 year old ryes. So
Really?
Yep.
Because to me, it smells a lot older. I mean, I would almost say this could be a dusty rye. The way that it just kind of just off the nose. It
Got
has
that muskiness
musky
to it.
funk that's on there for some reason. It hangs there. It's like you would get from a dusty.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. That's one of the reasons. This is my last bottle of this, and it's more than probably. Well, it's right at halfway full. So I've got enough left to kind of survive the next little bit. But it's definitely one of my more favorite pours that they did, and what I love about Old Carter is the fact that they both have fantastic palates, and if I remember correctly, I think this was Mark's blend. Right out of the gate. I think Sherry did a bunch of the bourbons that they did out of the batch one and a couple of single barrels, and they always do like a combination, but I think this was Mark had a lot more to do with this one, if I remember correctly.
And this is a barrel strength, correct?
Yeah, so they only do uncut, unfiltered, barrel strength. They don't do anything less than what's coming out of the cask.
Did you mention what proof it was?
This one is 113. No, sorry, 112.2. So what are we getting on this nose, fellas, ladies? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the main event. Barbara Brock, sipping and sniffing. What? What's so funny?
I think she enjoyed it more than anything. She's just too proud.
Too proud. Ain't too proud to beg.
The spotlight's all on you, Barbara.
What else is new whenever I'm on the mic?
If you give her the mic, then she can't be yelling at Nick. I'm just trying to save him.
Yeah, thank you. Just kind
I'll
of.
let Nick go first, right? Go ahead, Nick.
So outside of that kind of musty flavor, the smell that I'm getting off of it is you get kind of like a seasoned wood, and then there's like this little bits of floral that come in kind of right at the end.
Yeah, and it's like a sweet floral scent, like almost like, and we've talked about it I think before on a couple other things, a little bit of like maybe honeysuckle, or it's also like a fresh dandelion.
Thank you. That is exactly what I was sitting here thinking. Like, God, it's dandelion.
Well, I was kind of figuring like you walk out into like kind of like a rose garden, or not a rose garden, but like a flower garden.
Yeah,
and that's kind of like that sweet smell that you would get.
I think I'm like more like spring, fresh cut grass, like
fresh cut.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm getting. Is that fresh cut grass when you're in the country where there's lots of different weeds and different things, and those dandelions
More
are
of a
really,
wildflower.
Yeah, much
scent
more of
to
a
it.
wildflower that you wouldn't normally smell. But yeah,
Agreed.
no, agree completely with Scott. Dandelion. That was sitting here going, God, that's dandelion.
And the legs on this thing is just
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it is beautiful. And I'll be honest with you, I mean the color on this thing, it's not super rich, but
No.
I'm guessing this has to be the 95.5.
Yeah.
Even though it really tastes almost sweeter than the typical 95.5s.
That's what I was going to say. Is that it does it does taste a little bit sweeter.
But some of those floral notes are coming through. And Nick, honestly, I get a little mint on this, but I like it. I actually like it. So I got a little mint on it, but
I did too.
But it's not an offensive mint.
No.
It's very very light, which I don't typically like mint.
Didn't you just say on a recent podcast that you were not a fan of mint?
I don't like mint typically, but like I said, this is one of more of my favorite pours. Me and Nick have a very similar palate on a lot of things. I will say that. And we both are not big fans, but like even though this is one, and like I said, every time I drink it, and the funny thing is, every time I drink it, I forget that there's mint there. But like, and then when I go back to it, I'm like, damn, this is so good. Like but I think it's because the fruit really carries forward on this one. Mm-hmm. Like it's got a lot of heavy fruit notes, and
Right.
and those floral notes come through.
Yeah, absolutely. Now on the taste, absolutely, I get the mint. But once you get past that mint there at the beginning, at least for me, then it turns to that more of a baking spice, and then you'll get the kind of like tingle off, the kind of mid to late palate, and even back the throat right now, I'm getting just that little leftover tingle.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of a hug to it, but I really do. This is one that I've just enjoyed. Like I said, it's a really solid pour.
So in a lot of ways, ironically enough, I'm a little bit different than Nick here. I get more of the mint on the back palate than I do straight up. I get more of the floral first, and then that hug type in the back is where I'm getting that mint.
So I see where you're coming from.
Okay.
So like me, it's more mid to front. Like it's as you kind of swallow it, it's in that mid palate. But I could see where you say it's where it's coming through on the finish, right in the back of your throat. I can see where you can say that. But to me, I think that's just more of those herbal notes that's coming through from some of that other stuff. But that's just my humble opinion. I put a drop of water in this. I'm gonna see what it does to open it up. Because I typically only drink this neat, so this will actually be an experiment for me.
For me, it almost drops off after the mid palate. I get a lot of forward mint, a little bit of fruit, and that wood. It's not cedar, but some kind of
I just kind of seasoned wood.
seasoned wood. Yeah, right up front on my tongue, and then it just kind of naturally goes away.
Yeah. No, I hear what you're coming from. The water really changes the nose on this.
Absolutely. I get a lot more spice.
Yeah, spice.
A lot more of those baking spices, that cardamom, nutmeg, clove. Clove, very heavy.
Yeah. A little bit of tobacco.
Yeah.
All right. Diving in. Getting pull number 2 with a little water.
Yeah, the flavor on it does the
I
spice
really
pops.
enjoy that spice with the water.
Yeah, I will say the mint fades away for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
To where I don't really get much of the mint on that front palate anymore. I just get a nice rye pop, and then it kind of soothes down.
Yeah.
It just carries.
You know, the finish, though, almost dies.
The back of the throat.
Yeah,
back
the
up
very
there.
back one, yes. But overall, I mean, it's still really agreed. The mint just...
I think I still prefer this neat, though. You like your water?
Yeah, I'll
it
say-
takes
I like
away
the
enough of
water.
the mint that, yeah.
I'll say a single rock.
Single rock.
There you go.
I could see where that's the case. But I think I'm still neat on this one.
How
though.
big a rock? How many carrots?
You can't afford it, buddy.
I know I can't.
Man, I was about to say third rock from the sun.
Oh my God.
Wow. Went straight with the old TV show. Isn't that Joe Diffie song too? Welcome to Earth, third rock from the sun.
Yep, that was their intro music to that.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I thought that was just a Joe Diffie song.
Nope, that was it, their intro.
John Lithgow was
John
amazing
Lithgow was
in that
amazing.
show.
He really was.
Absolutely.
Terrific actor, honestly. So, all right, I'm gonna finish this one off, and then we're gonna dive into Hazmat. And like I said, I'm excited to see what Miss Barbara thinks about this Hazmat. So we'll have to see. I love how everybody's cleansing the palate, going into the water, and then we're gonna dive into that one. Have you already started sniffing the new one yet? No, you're still.
No, I'm
still on the Oak
really
Carter?
enjoying the rye on this one with
The Oak Carter?
The Oak Carter?
water. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. I tell you, the more I sniff on it, though, it's a lot more tobacco's coming through with a little bit of that water.
Yeah, agreed.
So I don't know. All right, dive into the nose on the second one. I'm gonna polish off this, and y'all tell me what you think about on the nose on this Distillery 291. So 7-year-old, 148.7 proof.
And this was a rye.
Then this is a rye whiskey. Yep, barrel strength, single barrel, Colorado whiskey.
Have you had distillers on the program before that have said that they would send you a sample and then you never heard back from them and did? Because I really appreciate that when that happens.
So I've never had anybody say, "Hey Scott, I'm going to send you something," and not send it.
Yeah.
No. I've had people that said they were going to send me something, and it took them a really long time to send it. Like I even had to sometimes remind them that they said they were sending me something. But no, I've never had anybody that said, "Hey, I'm going to send you X, Y, Z," and then didn't do it. Now, I will say I did have one of the marketing directors one time said that they were going to send me a series of bottles, and I thought they were sending it from all 5 distilleries, but they only sent them 3 of the 5, which I was like, I mean, don't kick a gift horse in the mouth, right? So, but it is what it is. All right, Barbara, you're nosing and saying wow, so I'm anxious to hear what you're saying. Well, I'm gonna go in and dive in on the nose. You tell me what you got, or are you wanting Mr. Guru himself to dive in first?
I'm still trying to figure it out. Holy cow, though.
Dude, a little bit of that pine or aspen.
Yeah. It's the aspen, I think, is what's coming through.
I was going between the aspen and then also kind of what I'm getting as well that's kind of carrying for me for some reason is almost like harvested hay. The hay.
Dude,
at
yeah.
At the end of a
Absolutely.
harvest.
That's a great analogy on that for sure. Is analogy right? Is that right? Am I using that right, John?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
No?
And it reminds me of the bourbon that they brought with us that night.
Yeah.
And I had forgotten about that.
That aspen really brings
wood.
out different flavors that we're just not used to in this area. And I think it's so unique.
It's almost like a subtle smoke to it too.
There's a little subtle smoke. I get a tiny bit of like a flower, and I'm trying to pinpoint what flower. I cannot place it at the moment, though.
Originally, whenever I was talking, I was almost going to say like a toasted hay, but yeah, I think it's that aspen. But I just, for some reason, I keep getting to that harvest. For some reason,
It's like
Thistle, maybe?
a barn loft.
Yep.
Hey, yeah.
It's just subtle.
I don't know that I would get thistle off that, but then again, I don't know that I can pinpoint exactly what thistle smells like.
No, it's unique.
Like for me, it's almost like,
it'd be piney.
I mean, there's some pine there for sure, but there's a floral note, like what Barbara's talking about.
Maybe dogwood?
I could see that. I'm thinking it's almost like a blossom, like some kind of like cherry blossom tree or something.
Maybe dogwood, because dogwood's a
could be
little bit
dogwood.
more of that earthier
Yeah.
smell than like cherry blossom.
Yeah.
What's funny is you said smoked, and it almost has like you have wood on a fire that's died down, and it's more of an embered
Almost
burn.
like, wet
Yeah.
wet smoke.
like a
Yeah.
wet
Yeah.
smoke
Yeah.
embered burn. It's really, really nice.
And after my third or fourth smell of it, I get this like back end sweetness. I don't know, just kind of like this sweetness that just kind of comes in right at the end.
Well, and I think that's where the floral is coming in for me. I think that's where that sweet is.
I'll be honest with you, for the level of alcohol that's on this, the legs are actually, I mean, they're good, but they're not as heavy as I would have expected.
Yeah, it's coating, but not really creating legs. It's like sticking
it's not,
there.
Yeah, it's not like creamy like on the glass.
Has anyone tried it yet?
Nope.
No.
I'm still trying to decipher all the notes on the nose. I mean,
It is
it's very
so
unique.
complex.
I mean, there's some sweet notes too in there, like almost like a. And Barbara, I think, mentioned this on one of the last episodes. Like, it's almost like a toffee.
Yeah.
So, but it's just different, man.
So I tasted it a little bit. Does anyone just off of the nose get any kind of cinnamon?
No.
No,
Interesting.
there's some baking spice there, but it's not
It's not
cinnamon. It's
cinnamon.
more like cardamom or. Maybe, and honestly, it's probably not even as much cardamom as maybe nutmeg or maybe a little bit of
closer
like
to-
ginger.
Yeah, I'm thinking ginger more.
I don't know. There's even some clove in there.
Did Nick take a sample?
He did.
Yeah, he's trying to figure that
Nick,
out.
Just first thing off the bat on the taste, red hot candy.
I was that or allspice.
Yes.
Allspice. I bet that's what we're smelling, Scott.
You get it on the taste if you want. If you take a pull of it, it's literally like cinnamon red hots or like that broken Christmas candy red hot.
But a little bit more not like a pumpkin spice or an apple pie spice, but that harsher clove.
The allspice.
Allspice.
Yeah.
Tends to be a little bit spicier. That's not just like the
Yeah.
light baking spices. This is like sharp baking spices.
Yeah,
that
for
hit.
sure. But this is not 148.7. I mean,
No.
it says it is,
Yeah.
but geez,
Jeez
it does not
Louise.
drink anywhere near
I would
that.
say maybe 120, 125.
I wouldn't even
If
say
that.
that. I would say like 115.
That's what
Yeah.
I was leaning more towards,
110,
110, 115. Yeah, exactly.
Man, it's super smooth, man. I'm tell you what, it's all front palate, man, and then into the mid, and
Agreed.
Then it's super smooth on the finish. I'm shocked at how smooth this thing is. Yeah, there's a lot of wood action going in there though, and it's not oak. It's like I said, like aspen, pine. It could be even maybe a touch of cedar in there, but there's and not like the way cedar smells. It's like what you imagine like charred cedar would be, almost like what we were talking about, that smoky charred.
You know, when they
Yeah.
do like a cedar plank salmon.
Yeah.
And they char
Yeah,
that?
there you
go.
It's
Yes,
the wood
yes.
that they use for
Yeah.
that after it's been
Yep.
lit aflame for a bit.
Yep.
Agreed. Absolutely, John. You're correct on
Especially
that.
on the mid palate.
Yeah.
Pretty spot on, honestly.
Yeah.
Man, this is really good.
I really don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah, in a little water.
Just a tiny.
It's all science, man. It's all science.
I know.
And
But I
drop some water in
really
it.
like that. I liked it straight.
It's
I
really
hate
good.
to admit it, I burped a little bit, and then it literally that spice just came back up the throat.
Lit up the nose hairs.
No, it didn't go up the nose, but I was like going. I felt it up the throat, and then out the mouth, and I was like, going, "Wow, hot."
They say that happens when you age.
I'm surprised the middle finger didn't pop up there.
It's all right. Birds will fly.
I've done enough damage just by setting foot in this house tonight, I feel like.
Shut up, Crash.
He's done.
He's toast. Don't give me fuel for the fire, brother. Oh my God. Water made it like gasoline, man, on the nose. Like
I'm kind of scared.
It came straight up, man. Like it really lit into the alcohol, like straight like pine, cedar,
Do we know
ethanol.
do we know how long this was?
It says it's 7 years. It says,
years.
yeah, it's their 10-year anniversary, 7-year-old single barrel Colorado whiskey, 148.7 proof.
Which is interesting compared to the other ages of their other items.
Yes.
Right. And as he says, it's rugged, refined, and rebellious.
Just a little bit.
So you say all you get is the alcohol and the heart.
That first nose, like when I first put it up there, it was like flaming. Like it was like alcohol, it was pine, it was cedar, like it was like all kinds of wood.
All I got was dandelion. Out in the field, freshly cut. We're picking them and blowing the little white
Yep.
leaves.
No,
That's
I get it
all
now,
I
but
got.
like the first, and it might have been just that I literally put it up there as I was kind of doing that, the hard inhale type
Maybe.
thing, but I was
Yeah.
like, whoa, like fuming, boy, it was coming off, like coming in hot.
Yeah, I took a little long nose on that, and you could tell that nose hair started to hit if you breathed in too far. But I like it.
I think that water really warms the gullet with it. It just increases. For me, it increases.
Did you already taste it with the
I
water?
did.
Okay,
It
I
has
haven't
that-
even done that yet.
For me, it has that heat level that pops even more than without.
Yeah, the rye really pops on that, man, with that.
I think it actually
Water.
softens the nose.
It
The
does
nose
soften. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't
Nose
know.
is softened, but the
I feel like
palate
the
is
front
very
palate is mellowed out, but it's all mid and finished now. Like it's weird. Like the first pulls were a little bit more up front to your mid palate with a really really soft finish, and now man, like it's soft up front, mid palate has got a really nice strong flavor, and then it kind of eases back to about, I'm gonna say just slightly above the collarbone.
Yeah, I'm getting the same. I'm getting really close to that.
Barbara's looking at us.
Uh-oh.
All right, where we at, Barbara?
I'm the complete opposite.
You think it's all up front?
For me, it is all up front.
Wow.
And then it just like
with the water.
Still with the water?
with the water.
See, everybody says you're, no offense, everybody says you're wrong.
Well, I know that, but so
I mean, even like a minute later, I'm still getting this nice little tingle on the mid late palate, and
Yeah.
then just still kind of tasting it.
It's hanging on the old punching bag. What is that thing called? Uvula?
and I get mine right on the very tip of my tongue.
Oh, man. I still get a little on the tip, but it's nowhere near
It's
like it was
all
on the
right there
first.
for me.
Just even nosing the empty glass now, it's like you're 3 stores down from Bath and Body Works, and you're at Christmas time, and you have that spicy fireplace scented candle aroma that, as you walk into the store, you pick up on immediately. And this, the
Like the juniper balsam.
yes, okay, that is. No, I'm glad you said that because
That's weird.
It has
It
almost a gin-like.
It does. Now that you mention that,
Barbara,
there is
fuck yes.
it does almost have like a little bit of like gin flavor
Yes.
to it.
This is why you include women in bourbon.
Well, I mean, with that, that juniper, the spice, it could even be the aspen that has that
Yeah.
kind of segue
Yeah.
that's given that gin-ish
Yeah.
style.
Well, it's
taste
just
to
so
it.
floral. I mean, and that's what gin is. I mean,
Yeah.
gin's is all these different, floral highlights with that juniper, but
It's that strong aromatic.
it's
lovely-
delicious. I don't care
Yeah.
what you say. I mean, it just
does not drink how high it is.
No, not at all. Dude, that's why I tell people all the time. Like they're like, "How do you drink that stuff? How do you drink that stuff?" I'm like, man, a lot of it I drink. It just drinks nowhere near proof. Like it just has, and it hits on so many different complex areas. And
Yeah,
plus,
that one is absolutely knock out of the park.
and like I always tell people too, it's like you can take something that's up here and you can turn it into 6 different things because you can water it to 120, you can water it to 115, you can water it to 100, you can water it to 80 or 90. So, and it stands up to a cocktail almost at every situation. When you have something that's high proof, it gives you just so much more flexibility.
I'm
that's
smelling
really
the Rocky Mountains now.
That's a hats off to the distiller for being able to pull that out of something
Yeah.
that is that proof that does not go back
Yeah.
that hot.
Agreed.
And it's about the angel
Absolutely.
share, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
and he talked about the fact that a lot of their stuff like climbed in proof, in a relatively short amount of time. Now, granted, some of them, I think he said they were smaller barrels, 10, 15-gallon barrels,
Well, and I
things
think
like
it's
that.
the smaller barrels and it's the altitude.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's 100% the altitude. I mean, that's what
Absolutely.
has a lot to do with, like, Vegas has the same issue, but that's a heat issue. But, but I think this is just strictly altitude. Like, it's really, really absorbing a lot of that
And it's a
water
it's a
out of the
dry.
air. It's dry.
You remember that, in this area, we have to deal with a lot of humidity, especially through the Ohio Valley.
No. We have humidity here? You mean to tell me, like, the heat, like, sticks to you? Like, sticks, like, everywhere? Crevices, nooks, crannies? A little bit of the, from under cheese gets going there, man.
I sweat under my man boobs sometimes.
Wow.
Yeah.
We didn't need to know that.
Yes, you do. There's a section of your listeners that's all they want to hear.
Did you hear about how sexy John had some man boobs that had a little sweaty sweat?
Ladies love to squeeze them.
And that's bourbonbarreltalk@gmail.com.
Please do not report us to the FTC. This is not porn. It is John. I'm sorry.
And he caressed his whiskey glass.
With the subtlest of droppings. Wow. All right. So, we're going to go in for what we call the final segment. We're going to give these bad boys where are we at, neat, dry, wet, whatever. How do you like them? Everything else. What's going on, Nick? You give me the.
I went back to left the old Carter, and I went back to it, and I'm getting toasted marshmallows. I don't know why.
Toasted marshmallows?
Oh.
Mine's dry, so maybe.
Yeah, mine's dry too, and I didn't get it, but boom.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Let John try.
I'm kind of picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah.
And it's really weird because I wouldn't have ever guessed that from a rye.
See, I with my dry glass, I still like it's a lot more tobacco coming through, and then a little bit of what I would call an undertone sweetness, which that might be where the marshmallow's coming through. What you're talking about?
See, and for me, my dry glass is just straight tobacco. I mean, I'm not getting anything but tobacco.
Yep.
So this may be a weird thing to say, but I get a strong perfume on that glass.
Now the question: how much water did you put in? Just like a drop or two, or a bunch?
For the old Carter, I put 2 drops of water in.
Oh, that's not much.
But
I
it's
can see
very
a little
different
bit.
from Nick's glass.
It's different from mine.
Yeah.
No, I get what you're putting down.
Pass the Dutchie from the front left side. Pass the Dutchie from. Oh, sorry.
At least everybody here knows where that came from.
John doesn't.
Oh,
He's still too young.
I'm trying to put it in my mind, and I'm.
Oh no!
I knew that he was going to be the one that had no idea what we were just talking
I'm
about.
clueless.
You really don't know what that song is?
Really?
Oh my God! All right, when the show's over, I'll play
We'll
it
talk.
for you. Anyway, I'm going to go first in this situation because I've got a very strong opinion about this one, and I'm surprised
I do
that
too.
I do. But I can't believe I'm going to say this because I love this old Carter Batch 1, but this 291 is super unique. It's got a ton of flavor. I'm going to take it first, the old Carter. I'm going to take both of them neat. However, there is a lot of complexity that comes with that 291 with just a drop or two of water. So I could see where that one with a rock would just be lights out. So, all right, who's next?
All right, I'll go. For me, it will be the old Carter with a rock.
Okay.
I like that. But overall, the 291 Hazmat.
Okay.
I could do either with or without, and I will say that would rival probably one of my favorite ryes. That is the complexity is that Liar's Bench. I think from a complexity standpoint, it would go up against it.
Yeah, it would definitely match up against that Liar's Bench on the complexity side for a rye.
I think if you could get more of a sample, I think that would be a great podcast. The 2.
Agreed.
Oh,
Yes.
I've got more.
Oh, goody.
I've got more, but I told other people I'd promised that I'd save them a little bit.
He's
but
greedy.
I'm not greedy, but I mean, listen,
Well, they
I
didn't
share a
give
lot of
him
stuff.
much.
They didn't give me a whole lot to start with. Mike was super generous. I mean, came out of his private stock, so I
Yeah.
mean, for him to be as generous enough to send us what he sent us was pretty nice. So, but what about you, John?
The old Carter with a rock sounds good.
That's the best one, you think?
That is the. It's not the best one, but the aroma that I'm getting now, just even nosing the glass, is so. It's stupid that I can't think of it, but what is when they put like herbs and spices in kind of a basket?
Potpourri.
Potpourri.
It's a potpourri. Why are you fucking laughing? Just because I couldn't
Because I
think of the
can't help
word?
myself.
I didn't say poopery, not for the bathroom, but the potpourri.
It is the potpourri.
It's very fall-esque, and now that we're week of
Oh.
Thanksgiving, so
Yeah.
I feel like that the Old Carter with a little bit of water in it or an ice cube has got that lovely fall-esque warmth to it. I'm sorry, I've not had bourbon in a little bit,
That's all good.
No, you got to get closer to the mic. That's
but
all.
that's all. Thank you for simplifying my stupidity.
That's all, folks.
The hazmat though is wonderful, absolutely
I
wonderful.
mean, they're both
Neat
excellent.
the way
Don't get me
that it
wrong.
is.
I'm not poo-pooing either one of them. They're both excellent, but I'm still, like I said, that hazmat. It is all over the place. It's just got so many complex notes that go with that thing, man.
I have to 100% agree. That hazmat is just absolutely knock it out of the park every time. Definitely no water.
No water. I'm glad
Agreed.
Barbara's with me. All right.
Agreed.
Okay. And then Old Carter and I loved it neat. Please do not get me wrong, but something about adding that drop or so
Yep.
just really opened it up for me.
Yep. It did. It definitely added to the sweetness. It gave it a few more little highlights and hints, but
Yeah.
I'm still neat on that one. I'm neat on both, but I'm the odd man here, so it's okay.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Nothing wrong with that.
I'll take being the odd man today. So
Now, for the hazmat, did they say last time, or that if they're planning to do another release of that in the future?
I mean, hazmat happens accidentally. You never know when that's going to occur.
Okay.
I mean, because when you're putting it in you can't enter it into the barrel at higher than 125 proof.
Right.
So it's strictly up to the elements. Like, it's all weather. I mean, you don't know what the angel share is going to be and how high that altitude is going to go on that alcohol level. So we may never see it again. We may see it next year. We may see it 5 years from now. It's like GTS, right? Like GTS has been everywhere from like 144.6 all the way to 119. Like, you just never know what's going to hit, and where they're going to fall in that range. I'm hoping that we'll see another hazmat soon. I think this year's was 138 and some change, pretty daggone close, but we'll see. You just never know.
It does make it more of a special novelty.
No, 100%. Yeah, but
Absolutely.
that's one of the reasons I love hazmat, and because they're just so rare. I mean, it's just rare to find a bourbon over 140, or a rye whiskey for that matter. Ryes are really, really hard. I've only seen probably 2 ryes ever over 140 proof. So,
Well, I'll tell you what, 291 definitely has it.
they killed that
They
one
figured
Yep.
it out.
for sure.
Well done.
All right. So if you all want to find Bourbon Barrel Talk, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and the Twitter. You can also email us at bourbonbarreltalk@gmail.com. If you have any questions, you can also hit us up on Messenger. If you want to find us, we're on iTunes. Spotify is my personal favorite podcast network. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. This is Scott, Nick, Barbara, and John signing off. Peace out.
Peace out.
Take care.